Imperialism was rising in the world in the late 1800s and the early 1900s. Some countries that were involved was China, Great Britain, which were already established. Some rising powers were Russia and also Japan. Japan was very influenced by the United States, and some decreasing powers were Spain. Another rising power was the United States in the late 1800s to early 1900s. The United States was going through the Progressive Era in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Some of the presidents were Teddy Roosevelt, William Howard Taft, and Woodrow Wilson.
The United States was a rising power trying to capture Cuba and Philippines from the Spanish. Cuba. Cuba was under Spanish rule from 1511 to 1898. In 1898, the Spanish-American War began. After the Spanish-American War, Cuba gains independence from Spain. The Spanish-American War. This is when Cuba rebels from Spain in 1898. This causes a war against Spain, which the United States recognizes. This then leads on to the USS Maine, and then United States declaring war. Jose Marti. Born on January 28, 1853, in Havana, Cuba. At the age of 16, he started journalism. He did it as a symbol of liberty through his writing. He wrote very simply on Cuban problems with the Spanish. He died on the battlefield on May 19, 1895, in Dos Rios. At a young age of 15, Jose Marti started doing anti-government activity and was arrested at 16 and put in jail. Throughout his life, he used journalism to express his feelings towards Spain. On December 10th, 1898, the Treaty of Paris was signed. This was signed in France, and it declared that Cuba, Guam, the Philippines were all territories of the United States.
Including Cuba, the Philippines is also a Spanish colony. The Philippines are a collection of islands located in the Pacific Ocean in Southeast Asia. The Philippines was under Spanish rule, and it was considered a Spanish colony, and many rebels and indifferences occurred between the two sides. Emilio Aguinaldo was a revolutionary from the Philippines. He was born on March 22, 1869, in Cavite, Cavite, Philippines. He was 7 of the 8 children, and he was Chinese and Tagalog descent. His mother sent him to public school in Manila, and after graduation, he took notice of the growing frustration of Spanish rule. In August 1896, Emilio Aguinaldo becomes the mayor of Cavite Viejo. He was the leader of a group called Katipunan, a revolutionary society that fought against the Spanish rule. On December 1897, Spain offered him money and liberal reforms to leave the country, and Aguinaldo agreed. He first fled to Hong Kong and after that, Singapore. Aguinaldo returned to the Philippines on May 19, 1898. He contacted George Dewey of the United States to help the Philippine cause. The goal was to kick the Spanish out of the Philippines. War erupted in the Philippines. George Dewey sailed the USS Olympia into the capital of the Philippines, Manila. He fought the Spanish and defeated them easily. Only 9 were wounded in combat. The Filipinos had hope for their independence. The Philippine-American War. Second War of Manila. The battle between rebels of the Philippines and the United States. The war lasted from February 4th, 1899 to July 4th, 1902, which was insurrection. Emilio Aguinaldo was very important to the Philippine people. He rebelled against the Spanish and he rebelled against the United States, although the Philippines would not gain their independence till 1946. As a result, the United States became world power as they controlled Cuba, Guam, and bought the Philippines for $20 million. This all started with the sinking of the USS Maine in the harbor of Cuba. Thanks to this, the United States became one of the strongest empires in the world. This presentation was done by Scott Spinard
and Andrew Wensberg.
Thank you for watching.